Here we go.
The other reason I really like that intro, is it reminds me of like in a weird like of an 80s sports movie. You know what I mean? It's not the movie I'm getting ready to say, but it reminds me of that movie. It's oh my god. Dude, I'm so mad at myself. Really
Johnny
famous,
Be Good.
really famous 80s wrestling, high school wrestling movie. Oh my god. It had Fudge Sickles. I feel so bad being a former wrestler. I can't even think of that.
I was gonna say I don't know any 80s wrestling movies.
Vision Quest. It
that sounds familiar. I don't know if
Vision Quest. Vision Quest also had Knight Rider, I think. But it really okay. Actually a very, 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 very good movie. And like if you're an old school wrestler, well, I guess maybe even if you're a wrestler now, but like for my old crusty ass wrestling back in the 80s, 90s, like I was like, that's it right there. That's the stuff right there. So
nice.
Okay. It reminds me of that. So anywho.
Yeah.
Welcome,
cool.
Everybody. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to episode 40. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today.
Still some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely some weird stuff going on. I will I'm gonna share the screen. The first thing we want to talk about is the last episode we talked about Tara Dower completing the Appalachian Trail in record time. She beat everybody that's ever done it. First person to go under 41 hours. Super impressive. But we kind of forgot to touch on Mike Wardian's progress, and he also did a through run of the Appalachian Trail, and he wasn't going for a speed record because he still had to work and stuff as he was going, and he ended up finishing at 4:30 in the morning the other day, and he did it in 60 days. So congrats to Mike Wardian, and he raised money for a water charity to help people get clean water in Africa. But the interesting thing about Mike Wardian's finish, his last couple of days, is that Hurricane Helene moved through the area as he was, I think he was on day 57 or 58, and he couldn't go because it was raining too hard, so he had to like wait it out. And then when he finally could go again after the hurricane, he said there was just like tons of blowdowns, and I mean, I'm wondering if it was even safe for him to be out there.
No way. Yeah. No way was it safe for him to be out there after. Like it would have been terrifying to be out there, even anywhere in that vicinity when that was going on. You know what I mean? Like it would have been absolutely insane. So
no doubt. I mean, it went, an Appalachian Trail goes right through where a lot of that devastation went in western North Carolina. And so he did finish, like I said, 4:30 in the morning. Congrats to him. He 60 days, he did it with a very limited crew. I think it was his mom and just some random people that helped out during the way. But he is touching on Hurricane Helene now, and he posted this, like, where to donate on his stories. And there's general organizations like Mutual Aid, Disaster Relief, AmeriCares, Red Cross, Salvation Army, Region Ahead, Samaritan's Purse, and Operation Airdrop. saying that I've lost connection. You can still hear me, right?
Yep, I gotcha.
Okay. So yeah, so he's posting that, and also someone who lives in this area that was affected, John Kelly, elite ultra runner John Kelly, lives in I think near Boone, North Carolina, which got pretty devastated. And his stories on Instagram are showing all kinds of pictures, like this one, checking on a few more people, worse damage from flooding, but it's hard to drive a mile on back roads without going through cleared trees and over down power lines. Sometimes having to take the back roads ain't all bad. Remember having to navigate with a map or just by knowing where things are?
Yeah, it's so bad. Like the roads, I was watching something earlier today. The roads are so bad. Like even like Google Map is like obviously just completely worthless.
Right.
Back to Mike Wardian though, being out on the trail like during and right after.
Yeah.
There's a post on his Instagram. If people haven't seen it or if people want to go back and look at it, he posted 3 days ago today, right? So it's Thursday. But if you go back to 3 days ago, on his profile, it is you can go back and like it is just insane the amount of like I don't know how he got down some of the trails. Like it's just there's just nothing to even to begin to go down. So it's just it is absolutely bonkers. So it's the one where his not that one. Go to the one where the next one down. That one right there. And then click over on the thumbnail. So here's
look at that,
and I can keep going, and it's just insane. Like, it gets it's just crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even know. Like I don't even know how he stayed on trail. Right. Like I've been. It's kind of. I've been up in Mohican after the tornado hit up there, and you even there, I was like, I am way off from the trail. And like that's a place that I know like the back of my hand. And it's not near as remote as the AT. So I have no clue how he managed to stay on the trail and get to the finish line.
Yeah, that is just crazy. But like I kind of get it. You've been out there for 57 days.
Heck yeah.
You're right there. But at the same time, I don't know, like maybe it was dangerous. Maybe he should have just picked it up later in the fall or like early winter or something. I don't know, but he made it anyway. Congrats to him. And yeah, just all the devastation and pictures from John Kelly's Instagram and stuff. Look at this one with the road washed out. It's just gone.
I mean, he's up in Boone. So, and Boone is like, I think Boone is like 2 hours. I think Boone is like 2 hours northeast of Asheville. And so it's close-ish, I believe. But Asheville is so bad that there's literally no way in or out of Asheville. Like all of the roads are gone.
Like I-40 got
hit. It's just like, which is like wild. Like they're having to like use drones and helicopters to drop food into parts of Asheville, into Asheville. So it is just insane what happened.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Heart goes out to all the people affected by that. And for listeners, there's tons of organizations that you can donate to if you want. But yeah, this is like one of the worst natural disasters, and especially because it's, a lot of times like tornadoes will just hit one town or something, right? But this is like states, states, and it's hit in a bunch of rural areas where people are, like you said, they can't get access to them. So it's crazy. And also Yeti 100 was supposed to be over the weekend, but due to Hurricane Helene, that was canceled. But Ultra Running Magazine said, we'd also like to send a shout out to the runners, volunteers, and race directors at the Yeti 100 who stuck around after the race was canceled to donate food, supplies, and assistance to the residents of Damascus, Virginia, who were hit extremely hard by floods. I'm sure this is just one of the many instances of our amazing ultra running community out there helping neighbors in need. It's truly an amazing group. So kudos to them. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less of ultra runners, but especially the Yeti, the Yeti, So, all right, but some races did happen this weekend, so we can get into that. And the first race I want to talk about is for a few different reasons, really, is Spartathlon. Okay, Spartathlon, for those of you who don't know, it's in Greece. It's a road ultra. It goes from Athens, Greece, to Sparta. There's about 10,500 feet of climbing, and there's one climb in the race that's 3,900 foot climb up a mountain. And the route from Athens to Sparta is the same route that this guy, a messenger, thousands of years, or a long time ago, when the Persians were going to attack Athens, they sent this guy Philippides to run from Athens to Sparta to recruit the Spartans to help them come back and defend Greece, to defend Athens. Well, so the guy ran, the 150 miles or whatever, and the Spartans were like, yeah, we can help you out, but they're like observing some holiday where they can't they can't leave for like 3 days or 4 days or whatever it was.
We'll get there.
So Philippides had to run all the way back to Athens to let them know that that the Spartans weren't coming, and then the Athenians ended up winning the war when the Persians came into attack before the Spartans even got there. So then Philippides runs a marathon back to, I believe, 2 marathon, Greece, to tell everybody that they won the war. And the guy ended up collapsing and dying. So, but that's kind of the story about how, like, I think that's how the marathon, the term marathon got going. But anyways, if you want to learn more about this, Dean Karnazes actually wrote a book called Road to Sparta, and it talks a lot about that. And he even tries to like trace the route that he thinks Philippides took and eat the foods that Philippides would have eaten, like olives off of a tree. It's an interesting book anyway. But yeah, so Spartathlon, the race, has been going on for a while. And so it was this past weekend. And well, first let's just go over the results before I get into the other part of it. So I got 2024. Okay. So Zismopoulos Fotis won the race. If that's not a Greek name, I don't know what is. He won the race in 20 hours and 18 minutes. That's 153 miles, by the way. I know it's road, and not too much climbing. I mean, relatively speaking. And the first place, let's see, the first place female. Oh, I got to go back. Sorry. Nora Hankala from Finland in 24 hours and 25 minutes. So the record holder for the women was Camille Herron, and she set the record last year in 2023. And Fotis Zizmopoulos, who got first, I believe he set the record last year too for the men, like 19 hours and something. But anyways, Camille Herron was back to run the race this year, but all that stuff came out about her Wikipedia entries, and changing other elite runners to make them sound not so elite,
as elite. Yeah.
And she was I just heard that she was accusing Stein Rex of cheating when she broke the 6-day record. And so anyways, the Camille's husband and coach, he came out and said that it was all him. And then Camille made a statement. I think, didn't I send that to you on text?
Yeah. Yeah.
She made a statement to the effect of like, we don't deserve this and this and that. But then something else happened. Her main sponsor, I think one of her main sponsors, Lululemon, dropped.
Yeah, it has to be her. That's got to be her big. That had to have been her bread and butter at this point.
And they dropped her because of this. I mean, that's serious. And she makes, from my understanding, she makes a lot of money on sponsorships.
Yeah.
Like she's a professional runner. That's what she does. From my understanding, right? So, so more fallout from the wiki thing. And another thing that you had sent me earlier, Stein Rex's 48-hour record might not be ratified. So, I didn't. That was a long article, and there was like all these organizations involved. But
and a lot of what it was talking about, that article, and like you kind of got to wonder, like, what plays a role in it, what doesn't. But the article did also talk about like one of the records that is not going to that is being slowly ratified is a race that was done in Hungary, maybe. And
And
the article,
that's the 6-day one.
I thought that was a 48-hour one, but it was one of the two, right? It was one of those two, and it was talking about like, listen, like it wasn't like that race wasn't even sanctioned by Hungary's governing body, so it's like, who do you go to ratify? Like, how do you ratify something that wasn't in itself even being sanctioned, right? And so like that, a lot of the article was talking about that, but also, then you got like Camille doing what Camille was doing, and like now also like now it's just like, there's like just a little bit of blood in the water, and now it's like everything is up for, and it was talking about that. So it was an interesting. It was, but like to your point, I will also admit, and like a longer article, and I was like, scroll, read, scroll, read. So, but yeah, that's what that one was. But
there's a lot to it. But back to the Camille situation. If she was struggling from bullying before, now
it's gotta
be. Now it's like way worse. I don't know. Like, I hope she's okay. Like, just on a human level, because this is pretty devastating.
Yeah,
You know, what she did was wrong. Like, is unethical, like super unethical. But yeah, wow, this is really blowing up. So
it is one of the. All right, so here comes me being super softy, right? Is to your point, what she did was no one can argue it was wrong, right? But is it now becoming that thing where like the punishment, the consequence outweighs the the offense, right? Like is she getting ready to get so much blowback? I mean, like it's like it's hard for me to wrap my head around what someone can do that warrants them losing their livelihood, right? And
yeah,
all right, let's just go on a limb and say, you know what, she was effing with people's Wikipedia pages. Let's
yeah,
just say she was doing that. Let's just say like, it wasn't even just her husband, it was her. It was her doing it. Dude, it's Wikipedia. It's
yeah,
Wikipedia. Like what like
yeah.
stop it. Like are we like we're getting ready to cost this woman her livelihood because she's messing with Wikipedia. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
really weird thing where like, damn, that as now does it warrant people talking shit about her and thinking that maybe she's not, like, oh, like kind of grimy, kind of childish, kind of
It's
immature?
it's unethical. I mean, I would say that that's okay to have that opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and here's the one thing that would make a big difference. It's how she's handling it. She's on the defense when
Yes.
she should be like, "Look, it is true. We did that. We screwed up.
It's true.
We apologize. You know, just own up to it and be
Yeah.
like, I'm human. You know, I got upset when my record was broke. I'm sorry. You know, um, I don't know. Just own up to it. Don't get on the defensive. You know, that's
Yeah.
my only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Hey, are you on the jumping back to Spartathlon? Have you ever looked at that the route of the race?
A little bit like a year ago. Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of a dope route, right? Because it's a A to B, right? It's not an out and back,
Oh, it
correct?
is the
It's
point. Yeah, it's point to point. It's
yeah,
from
it's
Athens
from
to Sparta.
yeah. So you start, and oh, by the way, the map is like straight down. If you go straight down, you run into the map from where you were.
Okay.
Uh, right there. Um, oh, by the way, you start in like dead middle center of Athens and run out to Sparta. Like it's
Yep.
kind of cool. But I also found a second map they have, and there's a no passing zone. Like I don't know what that's all about, but
Dude, I do know what that's about.
all right, lay it
So
on us.
so some of this race, or maybe a lot of this race, takes place on super busy roads where there's like no shoulder. So it's I've heard nightmare stories about this race. Like people are just breathing exhaust and like cars are like whizzing
Really?
by them like by inches. Um, I heard it's not very pleasant uh, when you're in the main city areas.
So there's a section of the race. If you're on like it looks like the race popped up in another window that we can't see right now. But
Hmm.
there's a section of the race that's right up in like the bend of the kind of like we're kind of close where you are right now. It looks like so yeah. Kind of in that general area right there. That's all the no passing zone right there. But look how like you're on some of that you are on the I mean, you're on the coast, man. Like you're overlooking the sea.
Yeah, I bet
Like
you got
that's
some
real, man.
very cool views. I'm sure of the water, and then you get to that mount. What is that Mount Parthenon? It's a
Yeah.
3,900 foot climb. So you got almost half of your climbing in one climb on a 153-mile race.
And that by the way, that climb is fairly deep into the race too. Like it is. I bet that climb is 2/3 of the way into the race. So
yeah,
right when your legs are good and tired, you're like, oh, you know what? Here, this will be fun. Hold this 3,900.
Yeah. And Dean Karnazes in that book, Road to Sparta, he does talk about the Spartathlon at length. So
yeah.
If anybody's interested in learning more about Spartathlon, that would be a good book to read.
I wonder what it would cost to register that race, load up, get your stuff over there, run that race. I wonder what your all-in package on that is.
Probably a lot. And I think the cutoffs are pretty strict just because of the road. It's on road. So I've heard it's tough.
Probably not like here's on the road. Probably not hella enjoyable either, really. It's probably one of those things you do just because it is what it is, but you're not doing it for enjoyment. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not at all. But it is, it's a traditional race. It's kind of iconic in the Greece culture, really. With Athens to Sparta, tracing the route of Philippides. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Maybe not. Some historians out there are probably like yelling at me right now.
Yeah. Fucking Neanderthal.
Yeah. All right. We can move on now to one of my favorite races, Bear 100. So Bear 100 it starts in Logan, Utah. This is an old school race. Like the race director, he's just this cool old school dude. And it's a point to point. There's over 22,000 feet of climbing. They say 22,816 feet. I did the race in 2021. I can't remember how much climbing I got. I think it was around 22,000. But there's a 36-hour cutoff. And it starts in Logan, Utah, and it ends in Bear Lake at Bear Lake in Idaho. So you actually go across the state line. I was telling Johnny before we started recording that when you're on the trail and you cross the state line, there's an actual wooden sign out there that says state line, like Utah.
I don't know
Utah,
why.
Idaho.
That's just awesome for some reason. That's really cool.
Yeah, so Bear Lake in Idaho, that's where it ends. One notable thing about this race is there was the weirdest post-race meal that I've ever had, right? It was like the main thing was like fish and shrimp. And then people made all these sides. There was like, I don't know, just some general sides, but I remember I was just eating some shrimp afterwards. Like, this is such a weird post-race meal. Like I could use some breakfast foods or something, but no, shrimp. Anyways, it was a good year for the race. I think 70% finish rate.
High finish rate for that hard of a race.
Yeah, and female course record. This is a hard rock qualifier, and let's see, Kareth Arnold won the race for the women in 20 hours and 25 minutes. And this, like I said, this is a course record. Caitlin Gerben had the course record in 2018 in 20 hours, 45 minutes. So she beat it by 20 minutes. And she finished third overall as well. Catherine Graham and Rebecca Rose were second, third. And then for the men, the first place men's winner of Bear was Jose Cruz, who 3 weeks ago, he ran Wasatch. Damn. Which is also in Utah.
Yeah,
it's just south of where the Bear is. Same mountain range, I believe. So yeah, he got second at Wasatch and he got first at Bear in 19 hours and 55 minutes. Like 3 weeks, just
that's a good month right there, right? Like that's a good month. That is
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. Like
How,
I haven't
how
even attempted a run, and I'm almost 2 weeks out from.
how are the trails there? Are they rooty? Are they buffed out? What's the trails like up there? It's in the Alpine Forest, right?
Yeah, it's a mix. It goes between like 5,000 feet and like I think you top out around 8,000 feet above sea level,
Yeah,
or maybe 8 or 9. Um, there's some fire road that's like rocky, and then there's some wide trail, but there's a lot of single track, and I would say in general it's pretty nice single track. It's got some roots, some rocks, but
yeah,
um, I don't remember it being like very very technical.
yeah.
I finished in under 34, sub 34, so that was honestly that was maybe my best 100 miler. Like I not time wise, but just overall feeling
Discipline wise.
like I was able to run towards the
Yeah,
end, like down there's at the end there's like a 7 mile downhill, and usually your quads are like trashed, but we were able to run down that road. It's like a dirt road, and
yeah.
a lot of dust, but yeah, it was maybe like I felt steady, and I ran the whole thing with my friend Sean. We ran together the whole race, and yeah, no, it was just nice, steady. There is one area of bear around I think it's around mile 75, between 75 and 80. It's called the Sinks, and
Yeah.
I think it's like the coldest recorded temperature in America, like
What?
ever. Look it up, the Sinks in
The
Utah.
Sphinx?
And it but by the time we got there, it wasn't cold. Like I had all this stuff stuffed in my pack because we were thinking it was going to be like 0 degrees there,
Yeah.
and we got there in the morning after the sun came up, and it wasn't that cold. Everybody, you know,
I was going to ask about that because, like, I mean, it's Utah, I mean, and some of it is at decent elevation. It's Utah,
yeah,
and what the first weekend of October, maybe the last weekend of
it's
September. I mean, like
yeah,
that's
usually the third or fourth weekend of September,
yeah.
and
So you're
it's
risking it.
well, it does get cold at night. It gets really cold at night, but it was really pleasant during the day when I ran it. Um, they've had snow during that race before,
Yeah.
and they've had rain and cold rain during that
Oh,
race
dude.
before.
So we have the official results. It's Peter Sinks is what this
Yep,
place is called, and
that's
they
it.
do permanently monitor the weather there. Like it's a weird enough place. So
Yep.
like that tells you a lot right there when they're like, oh, we have a monitoring weather. It's like, dude, like, all right, you are very, 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 very close in your statement. On February 1st, 1985, the temperature at Peter Sink's location plummeted to, drumroll please, negative 69.3 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh
That,
my
sir,
god!
that, sir, is the second coldest ever recorded temperature in the lower 48 states.
Wow.
Second coldest ever in the lower 48. Negative 69.8. Only to be beaten by a negative 69.7 degrees. So 4/10 of a degree colder at Rogers Pass, Montana in January of 1954. So like
Wow.
this place is like, yeah, dude, that is a weird risky race to run.
Yeah.
Risky, right? Because like
You never
I
know
mean,
what's going to
dude,
happen.
you could, yeah, man. And like I'm looking at, it's like now I'm down a way nerdy like rabbit hole of like weather on they like rest in peace my For You page on TikTok. But now I'm down a weird like I'm looking at this graph that is Peter Sink's temperatures,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. It's like giant rolling waves. when it's cold, it is effing cold. But when it's warm, it's getting up into like just shy of 80. So, but
Yeah.
as you know,
And it,
as a lot of our as you know, as a lot of our listeners know, 80 degrees at elevation is hot as balls. Like that is
yeah, that
hot.
sun is right on you.
It's
Yeah.
just like it's cooking your face off.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. Hey,
Well,
by the way, one more thing about your particular race that you said. So you know you finished in 34 hours. Did you know
33 something, no big deal.
33 and change? Do you know, or did you know, or do you remember the belt buckle differences?
Yeah, there's like a Wolverine, I think, for under
Yeah, yeah.
24 hours, and then
Sub 24.
sub 30 is what is a sub 30? I can't remember.
So sub 24 is Wolverines. 24 to 30 is grizzly bear. 30 to 36 is you, good sir, with your black bear.
I do have the black bear buckle. Yes,
That is dope. That is
it's
like
a cool
that's
buckle though,
cool.
because it's two black
It
bears
is.
like fighting.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool. So it looks like they might have changed their buckles then.
At
But
least
yeah,
I think it is.
it is a cool. Like it's still. See now,
Actually, hold on. I'll be right back.
All right. So while he goes to get that, folks, I will tell you. For me, the buckles that I love are I do love the old school, just like pewter. I don't think it's probably not really made out of pewter, but just the old school, very plain Jane, etched, like silver ones with like the black, like kind of subduing and stuff like that.
Oh.
So those are my favorite ones. And like a good example of that for all of us Midwestern listeners, my favorite buckle that I have is maybe my Mo buckle. I just love that Mo buckle.
Mohican.
Yeah, there's the Mo one. That's the same Mo one I have. Yep. So they've never really changed theirs.
My bear buckle is actually on my my belt upstairs. So I don't have it down here.
Yeah. So now it just looks like it's like a silhouette of a bear. But you know who else does a really good buckle? Yeah. See, like it's just nice and simple. Rim to River.
Indiana.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Rim to River has a nice buckle. Theirs is nice and simple. I like it. See, now that's not my jam. That's not my jam.
I don't know, dude. I would never wear this.
Yeah,
it's so big.
It's so big. It's so big, and like the shininess of it, and like the gaudiness of it. Like, man, just yeah. See, that one's dope too. You really got a bear theme going on with your races there, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. But anyways, yeah, bear is awesome, man. Like I'd say the trails are pretty nice. It's a great race.
Yeah.
There's points where you're running across these alpine meadows. It's just, oh man, it's beautiful, but very cool. All right. And then what do we got next? Oh, Dick Collins Firetrail.
Yeah.
This is a classic in Oakland. Oakland in the Bay Area, and it's been going on a long time. It's one of the more classic. James Scalen from San Francisco, 55 years old. Oh wait, is this 50 miler? I gotta stretch this out. Where's the time?
Oh yeah. So like if you're looking at the 50 miler.
Okay. His time's not on here.
Yeah, it does.
Did he win?
It's funny because it looks like no one finished. It's the way it makes it look like.
All right, I'll go to iRunFar and check that out.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, and it says he finished, but yeah, that is like you gotta love the old school races. You know what I mean? Like that's half the fun with some of them.
Okay, it's not on iRunFar, so or I'll Ultra Running Magazine. So I am going to do this. Do we have a link? Here we are, full results. Oh, I think that's where we were, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're having problems with.
Folks, there was a race from an old school race called Firetrails. It was ran, and that is what we have to tell you about it.
Yeah. Okay.
People ran it.
The
They had a good
100K,
time.
Marco Cater from San Jose, 9 hours, 9 minutes, was first. And then Brianna Santos from Travis Air Force Base in California, 11 hours and 26 for the women. That was the 100K. The 30K, Skylar Hall in we don't know what time. And the 50 miler, James Scalen from San Francisco, we don't know what time. Mike Helms was second, 5 hours and 7 minutes for 50 mile.
Dude, that's
Amanda O'Brien was first, and we don't know what her time was either. Second place female was Sunduk Kim, 6 hours and 34. So this is an old school race. It doesn't surprise me that the results are not all there, but all right. But I did want to give a mention because, Bay Area, it's pretty nostalgic for the Bay Area. The Flagstaff Peaks. This is an Air Viper race in Flagstaff, and it goes on all the peaks there. Flagstaff is a great running town. I've done a little bit of trail running there, and it's just a really cool town. A lot of elite trail runners live in Flagstaff. In the 50 miler, Joseph Lewis finished 8 hours 58 minutes, and Claire Rogan for the women in 9 hours 48. They also had a 50K. Erin Moyer, first for the female and first overall, 5 hours and 10 minutes. And Kira Donnelly, second female, second overall, 5 hours 39 minutes. And Eric Wise was the first male, 6 hours and 1 minute. And Matt Hauser, 6 hours and 5 minutes for second place male in the 50K. Yeah. So those were the ultra distances at Flagstaff Peaks. Mount Taylor 50K in New Mexico. I did want to give a shout out because honestly, there's not too many ultras in New Mexico. And Jessica, my wife, her aunt and uncle and cousin live in New Mexico. And we've been to Albuquerque to visit several times. So I just want to give a shout out to any race that happens in New Mexico. Mount Taylor 50K. Joshua Reddish from Albuquerque was first, 5 hours 4 minutes. And Matthew Van Cleve was second from Arroyo Hondo, New Mexico, in 5 hours 7 minutes. And then let's see, for the women, Joanna Hamblett from Santa Fe, 5 hours and 40. First place female. Second female was Amy Rosenbrow from Albuquerque, 6 hours and 27. There was a race in Buena Vista, Colorado, the West Line.
It's kind of weird that New Mexico doesn't have more trail running too. Like it is, right? Like I don't know.
There's some really good mountains there, like Taos, right? Taos is there. The Sandias, which is right by Albuquerque. There's lots of good places to run in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So Buena Vista, Colorado is an area where there's big mountains, like 14ers and stuff. A really cool area. And they had this 50K there. Justin Grunwald got first. He's a pretty well-known name in the ultra community. 3 hours and 54 minutes. And Ryan Smith was second, 3 hours 56 minutes. So just 2 minutes separated them. Paul Terranova was third. So yeah, there's some big names out at this race. And then for the women, it was, let's see, Whitney Barrett was first. She's from Albuquerque, 4 hours 51 minutes. And Natalie Kalin was second from Colorado Springs in 4 hours and 52 minutes. So they were literally less than a minute apart, first and second place female. So exciting finish. Okay, here's a race. Heritage 50K in Adrian, Michigan.
Another one, baby.
I'm only saying this because where I grew up in Northwest Ohio, we were not too far from Adrian, Michigan.
Like just across the way, across the line.
Across the line and maybe west a bit, but northwest. But they have a 50K in Heritage Park in Adrian, which I had no idea about. But there was 19 finishers.
Golly days.
Andrew Krupp was first, 4 hours, 28 minutes. And Daniel Fowler was first for the ladies in 5 hours and 34 minutes. Brett Meyer, second for the men, 4 hours, 43. Madison Smith, second for the women in 5 hours and 39. Ethan Krupp was seventh overall and fifth male. Wondering if that's any relation to Andrew Krupp, the winner. I'm guessing it is.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
What's the age difference? I can't quite make it out.
Well, the winner was 20 to 29.
20 to 29 also, right?
Andrew, and Ethan is 20 to 29.
Yeah.
So maybe they're twins.
As I say, it would be even better if they're twins. That's why I was asking. Like, I wonder, like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. If anybody knows Andrew and Ethan.
Yeah. If you know the Krupps.
Yeah. Also, this must be the year of the Colorado Trail FKT because there was a new female west to east, collegiate west, self-supported FKT that just got set 17 days, 9 hours, 58 minutes. It's the only name on there, so I don't know if that's the only self-supported attempt by a female or not, but Meredith Hughes set this record. So congrats to Meredith.
West.
That's the same route. That's the same route Jeff Browning did.
Jeff just did, yeah. Yeah, because Jeff's on here now. Yeah, like they've officially got Jeff on. They got it ratified and got him on here.
Yep. Bronco Billy did it 7 days, 9 hours, 37 minutes.
Dude, it is so funny to think like, yep, I had the fastest known time for something. And then just knowing that someone has kind of sort of the equivalent of it, but 10 days effing fast, right? Like it's absolutely nuts. It's weird to like.
Oh, but Jeff was supported.
But you know, it's funny because I was just getting ready to say something about that. It's kind of funny because, like, in a weird way, in a very weird, non-traditional way, I can almost see in some weird ways where being supported could be slower than self-supported. Maybe not something this long, but like races where like you're I mean, listen, I now realize I've ran hundreds with pacers. I've ran hundreds without pacers. I now realize that I weirdly think I do better without because there's not that person there to listen to me whine and cry. And then because that person's not there, I don't do it. And then because I don't do it, I don't get even further in my own head and I just go. You know what I mean? There's no one there to like,
Yeah.
what's the word? There's a word, starts with a P, like placate. Is that the word I want? There's no
Maybe.
one there to like placate. Like, I think that's the word.
Yeah.
There's no
To
one
be
there to
like, oh, I know it sucks.
yeah. You, oh, yeah. No,
To
yeah, we can slow
empathize.
down. There's no one there to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, but I mean, like, just kind of something to maybe think about. But yeah,
Well, the self-supported men's FKT is 10 days, 12 hours. So that's still like 7, almost 7 days difference.
the other part that's really kind of like, I mean, maybe I'm just a big old scaredy cat, but dude, being out there in those mountains by yourself in the middle of the night, 17 straight ass days.
Yeah.
Dude, like the calorie deficit starts messing with your mind, like a little bit of dehydration sets in.
Yeah.
Like every little bump and boo in the night is just like your hair to be on it all the time. I mean, like, listen, I get a little skittish on night runs, let alone 17 days of night runs. Like, that's crazy, man. That is just absolutely insane.
And those mountains are up there and
Up
out there.
Yeah.
You're looking at 13,000 foot peaks and 14er.
And you're self-supported, right?
Yeah.
So now self-supported, the rules say that you can have drops, right? Like people can drop stuff off. They just can't be there to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think other people can drop stuff off.
Oh, so I thought under the rules they were allowed to drop stuff. You're allowed to have stuff dropped off. They just weren't allowed to be there when you got there.
So FKT guidelines. So like I actually wanted to go over this one time, but we didn't get to it.
So while you look that up, go ahead.
You got something? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know. It's just that quick as gone. So go ahead.
All right. Sorry. So self-supported means you may have as much support as you can manage or find along the way, but not from anything or person, just for you. Any support you employ must be equally available to anyone else. This can include caching supplies in advance, purchasing supplies along the way, staying at motels, and finding or requesting food or water. Camping in a friend's yard would be supported because it's not available to the public. Many long through hiking routes are done self-supported. To get a self-supported FKT, you must also beat the fastest unsupported time. So self-supported, you can use gas stations and hotels. You're right. You can stash stuff ahead of time.
You can stash stuff.
Right. But not other people.
Yeah, but no one can drop stuff. So wait a second. So that's self-supported. So it's unsupported. You're carrying all that shit all by yourself for all that time?
That's a great question. So unsupported means you truly have no external support of any kind. You must carry everything you need from start to finish, except water from natural sources. Public taps along the trail are fine, but no water from any commercial source, even if free. This naturally limits the length of an unsupported trip. Spectating, prearranged by an athlete, is supportive and was classified as support starting February 4th, 2021. All FKT classifications previous to this date remain unchanged. Phone and digital communication is not considered support, nor are spectators and support people at the start and finish. Using public restrooms is not considered support, though using it as extended sheltering would be. Charging digital devices or headlamps at public power sockets is acceptable for unsupported attempts. To be unsupported, all equipment and gear must be carried from start to finish. Wrappers, trash, not gear, clothing, may be properly discarded along the way. So you can throw trash away, but you can't throw clothing away. One may drop gear, such as a pack, while summiting a peak, if one returns to it and brings it back to the finish on the same trip. Using a bike or kayak can be unsupported if the above condition is met, such as an out and back route where a bike is ridden from start, left temporarily, and ridden back to the finish. If a bike or any other gear is cached in advance or left along the way, the effort is not unsupported.
Dude, so wrap your head around how effing strong. Like, I know we're giving Meredith shout outs because Meredith just, Meredith just knocked out a 17-day, 9-hour, 58-minute, 45-second self-supported.
Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't do that. Like, straight up. I don't think I could do. I'm assuming I couldn't do that.
No.
I don't think I could do that.
And I don't think there's many hotels along the Colorado
Trail.
Yeah.
But dude, she did that in 70. Nathaniel Gilbert on the same route, west to east, collegiate east, or I'm sorry, collegiate west, did unsupported in 11 days and 5 hours.
Dang. That's impressive.
Dude, that is freaky as shit.
That's crazy. There's a Strava, my gear list and weight breakdown.
He basically just said, okay, I'm going to take 11 MREs that have like a couple thousand calories, right? I'm going to take 11 of those. I'm going to take 11 liters of water. I don't know how he managed to carry 11 liters of water.
Well, you can filter water.
But where are you going to filter water out there? Like, that's pretty high and arid.
There's definitely, like, where there's snow runoff, there's streams. I don't know what time of year he did this, but
dude. Well, I do. He did in early September. He did that in late August, early September. Bro, it would not have been cool. Like, it would have been just a little warm.
So he has all kinds of data on FKT website. Right here, it shows you all the weight of his pack and everything.
Dude, this guy's a nut.
Looks like he started with 34.53 pounds. Actual loaded pack weight measured 30.44 pounds, including food, water, worn items not included. Actual food weight measured at 23.5 pounds. Worn items include items worn during typical dry daylight hours. But he has it broken down into pack and storage, poles, sleep, like stuff for sleeping, shelter, clothing, the weight for all these different categories. Hydration, 1.5 liter bottle, 500 milliliter soft flask, bee-free filter, repackaged into MLD mini dropper bottles. So 0.46 pounds just for things to hold water.
That's crazy.
Or hold and filter, I should say. I wonder what is with all his. Well, you could calculate it, but you know,
dude,
what
his write-up is fire.
Yeah, his food list, weights and calories found here. He has a spreadsheet of this.
Dude, like, this guy's a massive nerd.
He is.
I'm here for it.
He has got it broken down.
Dude, this guy's fascinating.
Yeah, he must be an engineer.
He's got to be. This guy has like engineer written all over him. And if I had to take even a step further, I'm guessing like he's like a data science engineer. Like this like computer engineer. Like
totally.
Like this guy is a massive nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He has it really broken down by day.
It's a great write-up. Like he has like how he felt, emotions, like
Wow. Lessons learned. Oh, that'd be an interesting one.
Man, I'm gonna have to send this to myself and read this. This is fascinating.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, congrats, Meredith. Not an easy task.
sorry, Meredith, for getting pulled off in another person's FKT.
Yeah. But no, it's 17 days to complete 500-mile trail. Like, awesome. So my last thing that I had to talk about was Courtney Dauwalter is running this race this weekend. It's this race in France, Nice Cote d'Azur. Azur. I probably messed that up. So this race used to be a golden ticket race for Western States. Jim Walmsley did it last year to get his golden ticket into Western States for this year, but it's no longer a golden ticket race. But it is a UTMB race. It's 115K in France, and Courtney's running, so we'll definitely be following her this weekend at that race. I think she's gunning to win it outright, beat all the males and females, and she can certainly do that. So,
It'll be a fun race to watch.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's really going to be interesting with the women ultra runner of the year, because there's some like pretty incredible stuff going on, across the board with women this year. So
yeah,
Katie Scheid, going Western States, UTMB, Tara Dower setting the FKT on the Appalachian Trail, and getting like fourth at Hard Rock, and and there's some other pretty stout stuff too. So definitely looking forward to the end of the year stuff like that this year for the women. So
yeah.
All right, what else?
I think that's about it. This might have been one of our shorter episodes, just like because of everything that happened and what it was. So
yeah.
You know what? Actually, though, not really even that short by much. We're at hour 2, so
about a few minutes.
Yeah, pretty standard time. Me getting off on a tangent about some other dude's FKT help. But,
it was fascinating, though. I'm glad you looked into that.
Dude, I'm like kind of like I have it. I'm going to end up like texting this to myself so I don't forget where so it's easy enough for me to go back and find it. Like this is like absolutely fascinating to me. Like I do enjoy a good write-up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bad thing is a lot of times when you read race reports, like if you read 10 race reports, right? If you were to read 10 of them, how many of the 10 start with, well, I came into the race injured, or I came into the race undertrained, but I was going to give it my best try. If you read 10 race reports, how many of them start off that way? It's amazing. Yeah. You're just like, well, here we go. Here comes the bullshit excuse about why you fucking DNF'd at mile 53. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just jump to it. Like, just tell us you DNF'd the effing race. So, anywho, but yeah.
Good stuff, man. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate you. And I know this episode's a little bit later than our normal ones. Johnny and I both had a lot of life stuff going on, so with work and moving, and I'm not in the Bay Area anymore. I moved a little.
That picture you sent, I am fucking jealous of that view, dude. That's a dope view.
Yeah, we moved a little further down the coast. We're in the central coast of California now. My wife Jessica got a job down here, and I work remote in my real day job. So, we were able to move down here to San Luis Obispo County. But but anyway, I'm looking forward to exploring some trails down here and everything. Yeah. But yeah, we're busy with moving, and I know Johnny's got a lot going on with work, so a little late this week, but maybe next week we'll be back on track.
And you got it still in time to do the long run on Friday, so you're good to go.
That's
or
right.
Saturday,
that's right.
rather. Saturday. Cool. All right.
Or both.
Yeah. See you all next week.
All right. Take care, everyone.